Daniel Frischberg has been the voice of reason for countless networks from CNBC to Fox Business, and now he's turned his attention toward building wealth for millions of more people. With 70 plus years of experience developing strategy and an understanding of the market, Daniel Frischberg is the money man.
Now, here's today's host. Here's the money man. Here's Dan Frischberg.
Now here's your next bona fide 7 or 8 figure business opportunity. Your escape and move up from the TV news driven, internet distracted world that millions of Americans have been stuck in is here. See, they see business and investing as 2 different worlds, and they're willing to suffer any hardship to stick with and build success in their careers. But they scamper away like scared squirrels when they confront any kind of meaningful obstacles in the best businesses in the world. Businesses that could be serving to carry them to that next 8-figure opportunity that will change their family's destinies forever. At this moment of turbulence, distracted by misguided short-term worry, anchored in short-term thinking, picture the fantastic irony. An investing herd, distracted and blind to the upward and onward march of our human race. Because we're talking about literally billions of humans desperate to join our physically comfortable, temperature and condition controlled world. It's a world powered by artificial intelligence that we Americans take for granted, informed by a media culture that spends all day worrying about cyclical numbers like next week's GDP, sales and consumer prices that are going to just be a memory a month or 2 from now, while we walk through the doorway to our future and move into this new era virtually alone. Now here's a fact. According to Institutional Investor, hedge fund performance in 2022, and this is pulled from NASDAQ's eVestment for institutional investments. Here's the fact. The 10 largest multi-strategy hedge funds lost more than 2% year to date. I'm talking about this in December of 22. Now this is actually a lot better than the entire multi-strategy group's loss, which is 3.5%. And meanwhile, the world still relies on bonds to protect them from down markets. And yet the 10 largest fixed income funds lost on the average 1.5% in 2022. And the average bond fund actually lost 4% more on the year. But the magnitude of our opportunity is enhanced on an exponential scale by the reality that our 400 million people in America are now being joined by a determined population 5 times our size. Every presidential election in modern times has seen a strong stock market and an improving economy. Understand where we are right now. Clearly, as it always does, our central bank, the Fed, is timing its activities to create a positive environment for the coming election year, which is 2024. The President of the U.S., all members of the House of Representatives, and 1/3 of the Senate are all going to be up for election at the same time. And at that time, trust me, there's only one party in Washington. It's called incumbents. Everything in Washington is geared toward re-electing those incumbents. Now, the picture you're seeing now shows each election in the past 30 years. Note that in every single case, regardless of what had been going on in that economy up until that time, everybody in power in Washington teamed up to create a vibrant economy and a rising stock market. They learned to produce these conditions without fail. It all started with the election of Bill Clinton in 1992, because in past elections, when the market was in decline, the politicians in power were kicked out. They were unceremoniously replaced. This is the story of George H.W. Bush, George W.'s father. He served starting in 1988, right after Ronald Reagan. He was Ronald Reagan's vice president. In 1992 was a new election. The Fed saw some inflation and they were tightening in 91. Coming into 92, the economy was tight. The stock market was down. By May or June of 1992, the Fed was already easing and the economy was doing great in the summer, but you know what? It was too late. Bush was thrown out of office along with most of the congressmen and a lot of senators. Clinton was elected. You know why? Because they found that by the spring, everybody's decided who they're going to vote for already. They were all mad. Now, in the future, nobody ever let that happen again. The economy, they get all the bad news out of the way in the third year of the presidency. By the fourth year, everything is rolling. Everything is doing great. People are happy. And in the fourth year, in 2024, our Fed and our politicians are all going to be taking bows. Mission accomplished. Everything's going to be great. The stock market will already be running up. Now, this is our world right now, even though we seem to be the only ones who see it. And we've developed over the past 40 years a checklist of the very rare qualities that find for us the most desirable and dominant companies who can really benefit from this up market we're looking forward to in the election year 2024. I'm talking about the handful of businesses that can continue to increase in value exponentially, free from the temporary ups and downs of our American economy and of the stock market. Now, you see, only a handful of businesses on the planet own all of these qualities at the same time, the qualities you're seeing. So here's our process. First step, we use our proprietary research and data mining skills to identify this handful of companies. Next, we select only those businesses in which we can secure nearly perfect terms, allowing us to own their future increases in value, and we own them forever. We're locking them in for our families forever, for just a few pennies on the dollar. Now, here's an example of a business that's ready to join our new era. See, this new era is the bridge from the old world of 8 billion people to the lives we're going to be living over the next 5 years. ASML is a one-of-a-kind manufacturer. It's a Dutch company. They make the special equipment that's absolutely essential for building the microscopic semiconductors for artificial intelligence applications, AI. Now picture the people that are living in this shack you're looking at. They're determined to live like we do. But you know what? You can't have the power of artificial intelligence, electronic brains thinking faster and more accurately than any human being. You can't have that with artificial intelligence. Let's understand what this is. Imagine you're in India and you're living in this shack and you're hearing what I'm telling you now. In Taiwan now, Taiwan Semiconductor makes what they call a 3 nanometer chip. By the way, even Intel can't do this yet, even Samsung. Understand what a nanometer is to really picture this. A nanometer is 1/billionth of a meter. These guys are the only ones in the world, and they're making computer chips, semiconductors, that are so small that 100 of these chips stacked on top of each other are the thickness of a sheet of paper. Just picture this. This is the world that these people in this shack are desperate to join. And it's the world that's controlling the beautiful conditions that we live under here. To make these chips like they do in Taiwan, Every chip fabricator in the world must use the $200 million piece of laser equipment to etch the path of the copper on these chips. Remember, they're too small for you to even see. So this one company that nobody's even heard of, ASML, a Dutch company, they have a total monopoly on the manufacture of this laser etching equipment. It's not by law, it's that nobody else even comes close to achieving their technology. Not even close. Now start to picture what this can mean to your kids and grandkids and their grandchildren. They can be rich forever, and it's all going to be up to what you do right now. When the U.S. economy and a lot of the world shut down in the spring of 2020, ASML stock was priced at $249 a share. It had crashed from around $800. It was clear that the spread of artificial intelligence technology was and is destined to cover the globe and bring billions of human beings into our 21st century. Contracts, or the rights to buy these shares at $360, were acquired by a lot of our clients and our students. Now, only 9 months later, those shares that were purchased under these contracts for $360 were sold on the 15th of January in 2021 for $527.50 a share. By September 20th of 2021, ASML shares were valued at $841 a share. The total return on this deal that was missed by almost the whole world was 3,949% over about a year and a half. Now this means anybody who knew how to do this deal turned every $1 million into $39.5 million. Now nothing you know how to do can produce money like that. And most of you think you're too busy making $30 an hour to learn how to do this. And yet it's happening right under your nose, and it's about to start on a bigger and better scale because of the election that I just explained to you. That's coming next year. ASML stock is beaten down again, but think about this. Despite the competition in the world, no company can build the chips that are needed for artificial intelligence without this $200 million tool that only ASML can build and that every chip company in the world has to buy. And they're lined up a mile long waiting for delivery. Nobody's even close to this technology. One $200 million machine takes over 100,000 parts. It takes hundreds of engineers. It takes 3 miles of hose and enough wire to stretch from New York to California. No company in the world has the money or the skill to duplicate what ASML is doing. Nobody can have it. And nobody can have artificial intelligence without it. Now, what a position for us to be in. As the stock market recovers over the next few years, we believe this opportunity far surpasses the current example, and we plan to make this acquisition for only a few cents on the dollar, just like we were able to do back in 2020.